Oh wait, what if this whole entire video is shot and I never get to see my own face? Dun dun dun.
Give him your best face. Wait, again.
You're taking my picture.
No, again, wait.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm actually not, it's a video.
You're so
Give your best face.
You took my picture. I know you did.
It's on the video.
It's my. I know you can take pictures on there. I took pictures of you. So, I see the phone moving. You get the world around you, not just me. You're spamming photos.
Okay, wait, I'm not actually.
You're not. Oh no, you ain't. Oh no, you ain't. I see you doing it. That's evil.
Wait, that white button spams photos?
You see his face now? No, you don't. I missed. No. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna cut this video off because we're getting off Westminster. Baby.
Alex is a teenager. But still really just a lot of fun. He loved to get together with his friends, go to football games for the band. He loved to go to movies.
When we were dating, he was like big into superheroes. I know he just started watching The Flash, and so I would come hang over, and he'd be like, "Oh, I gotta pause The Flash." And I'm like, I know zip about superheroes. And I'm like, yeah, I'll watch them with you. And I'm just like confused out of my mind because I don't know what's going on. But that was something he always loved. I remember him, me, and Jeff went and we all saw Deadpool together. Such awkward to be in that room with Jeff watching Deadpool, because I think it came out when we were probably maybe like half a year, like 6 months into our relationship.
His first girlfriend, it was strange because he'd never carried himself to have like an interest to have a girlfriend or go after, like to search for a partner. But I had heard one day from hanging out that, yeah, this girl, she seems cool. And I said, oh, great, assuming it'd be a slower process since he's pretty shy at first. And then that fall, boom, it's just, I see them together every day.
You are now on camera.
Okay.
Evidence.
Huh.
Can you see the sky? Can you see the skyline?
Yes, I can see over the mountains. We started dating fall of my sophomore year. We had gym class together. I know, very romantic. Oh, wow, here's the real tea. Okay, so we had mutual friends in gym class. So we were like hanging out, super silly, super fun, just vibing off each other. And I knew I wanted to go to Holcombe with him. So I was telling my friends and they're like, oh, you should just ask him, because I'm definitely was the more outgoing of us two in terms of like speaking it into existence, whatever. So I remember that we were like walking up from the field and he's like, do you have anyone to go to Holcombe with? And I was like, not unless you're gonna ask me. And he's like, okay, yeah. And then that's what we kind of spoke it into existence. We went together and I remember we went, danced the night our way, had like a little kissy kiss, and my friend Cory was like, so are you two a thing? And we're like, yeah, I guess we're a thing.
I remember him saying, hey, I'm dating Danielle at one point. I was like, oh, okay, because I knew who Danielle was. We had homeroom together and stuff, but I wasn't real close with Danielle or anything, but like I remember him saying that. I'm like, oh, I know her, kind of like. And then Liv was friends with Danielle, and then we just kind of like, oh, we both seem to know each other, so like, we started doing double dates and going out and stuff like that.
So Alex, Cory, Olivia, and I, we used to go to Eden Park together and have those, double date nights.
The one cool thing, though, I remember was when, I think when they first started dating, she had decided to go vegan. And he's a carnivore. He loves meat. So their date ideas were always kind of conflicting because not many places in Butler are completely vegan, or like to her standards. So they did a lot of cooking together at that age, which is pretty good, you know. But the going on dates was actually really funny to witness, because he almost had to find like it was always either Panera or like a local like breakfast place where it was a little more friendly for her and had stuff for him too. So they went out of their way a lot.
I remember a time we had a date night at Alex's house and we made gingerbread houses.
Around Christmas time, we went over to the Hunter's house and we made gingerbread houses. And after the gingerbread houses, we had a Nerf battle at their house, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best memories, especially making the gingerbread house and stuff. I forget Alex's dad was making fun of my one gingerbread man I made and stuff, and it was a really good time.
Or there would be times like I remember there was a track meet and Cory was throwing and Alex ran, and we were both, dating them at the time, and so we went and watched Alex do his, running. I think he did like sprints, or I could be wrong.
Yeah, Alex was
whatever it was.
Endurance runner.
It was something that
he did cross country for a stint there too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was a distance runner.
But and then we watched Cory throw, I think it was javelin, I want to say.
Javelin and discus.
So that was fun too.
I remember at one of the track meets, my dad had come to watch, and we still haven't figured out how, but Alex managed to recognize my dad, and we still haven't figured out how, because to our knowledge, Alex had never actually met him, but we're just guessing he just kind of saw him, was like, that person looks awfully familiar, and then put two and two together. So, but I remember my dad talking about him one time, that at the track meet, because my dad was sitting in the bleachers, watching, waiting for stuff to happen, and Alex came up to dad and was like, hey, you're Cory's dad, right? And my dad's like, yeah. He's like, I'm Alex, I'm one of Cory's friends. And they started talking, and my dad was just like blown away, like, I don't know how this kid recognized me, knew who I was, and just sat down and talked to me for like an hour while we're waiting for stuff. And he did that quite a few times after that. Had all the track meet stuff, he'd find my dad and talk to him, and just, yeah, my dad always talked about it. I was like, he was really, really cool kid.
Alex was the first boy I ever brought home. I was like the first girl he brought home. Like, this is my girlfriend and this is my boyfriend. So it's definitely like they were in the honeymoon stage as much as we were when it came to the relationship. My mom's very much someone who can tell who a person is the second she just looks them in the eyes. So I think she could tell that he was he would really look after me and be caring. And my dad, of course he tried to intimidate him a little, because it's the first guy and I'm the oldest of three girls. So, trying to be a little harder, but my dad's not a strict person, so he didn't do that well.
We're on camera.
Does it even twist?
No. Slightly. This much, right?
That's it?
This is all a twist.
Aw.
Go in the shaky thing.
What are you shaking? That shaking.
That is shaking.
Up those giant screw heads.
When I first met Melody and Jeff, they were super sweet. I could tell that they were super caring and thoughtful. Melody specifically, you could tell the second you meet her that she's a crafter. The whole house had just so many personalizations to it. Super cute. You could tell that everything she made, she put a lot of thought into it. And I think that shows a lot through the way she presents herself. And then Jeff's a little more standoffish. But Jeff's Jeff's personality is super cool too. He just takes a little bit more to warm up to someone. And he's also, you can tell, like a night owl, really deep into his work. So oftentimes he'll be a little bit more reserved because he's always thinking.
I remember.
Yeah, let's take you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a trampoline, but it's not a trampoline.
Trampoline with something to hold on to. Yay, bunny hop.
Oh, is this supposed to be shaking? You want
That's haunted.
It's haunted.
Okay. Is this new? I guess.
I wouldn't go to those slides.
Yeah.
I remember how for Valentine's Day, Alex gave me this homemade, I wish I knew what this thing was called. For Valentine's Day, Alex had given me this heart where he took nails and he put them in a piece of wood and then a string to connect it all. So he wasn't the most artistic guy. We tried our darndest to get art together and it just never happened. Our schedules never aligned at school. So we ended up being in 2 separate art classes. And it was like the most painful experience to him. He was not artistic at all, like not an artistic bone in his body. But he would try so hard. It just wouldn't put 2 and 2 together. And so here I am making it work, and here he is like failing art class all because he wanted to be with his girlfriend.
I remember this picture.
It was sweet. It was extremely cupcakey, and they were just side by side from in between classes all the way till after school was over. They would just hang out after school, get picked. Their parents pick them up, or she'd drive, or because she got her license first, and yeah, they hang out from the moment school started to when day was over every day for a year or 2, and from there they just fell off, but they were both good together in that time, and I'm sure he had a great time.
After the breakup, we were still friends, but with any like high school breakup, there's a lot of tension there with it being your first love. So we weren't too close, but we were still like acquaintances or had the same like friend group overlap. The thing with Alex that I didn't see in him is he didn't have like ambition to travel, and I love traveling. He's very much a homebody, so I was like, the second I can get out of Butler, I'm gonna do it. Like, it's a great place, but I don't see myself like living there the rest of my life. And he 1,000% saw himself living there the rest of his life. Like, he would have bought like the home next to his parents if he could.
Nominated by Tanya Klotz. I nominate Andrew, Luke, Carly, Jennifer, and my dad.
I do remember being in 2 like separate friend groups in like 10th grade, and he was in both of them, and we kind of just became instant friends from both of the groups. So I think that's kind of how we met. I can't remember half the places I went with them. And we were always, every Friday night, we were doing something, going somewhere, making trouble. That's what we were doing.
Once we got to drive, we would drive anywhere, just do anything, meet up with people. We spent a lot of time at the farm shows and the Butler Fair, and we would essentially hang out from the morning all the way to when it closed each time.
So Alex's car. Alex saved money. Alex is not a spender. So he saved up over time, and of course, like that Christmas and birthdays prior, like he's like, I don't want anything. I'll just take whatever I can get. Whatever you're gonna spend on a gift, I'll take. Like, I want to buy a car. So he literally wrote that check for that down payment out of his own checking account.
Of course, he like mentioned like really wanted his dream car. Like any dude really brings it up. Like, oh my gosh, it's got to be red. It's got to be fast. It's got to be cool.
Yeah, that was a big thing Alex and I talked about a lot. Was cars. Because I mean, I've worked on cars all my life, and you know, he always talked to me about my Jeep. And then when he got his little Honda, he was just like in love with the thing. It was really cool because I mean, he was so excited about it, and just like he was really proud of it.
His little car, he loved that car, and out of his senior pictures, the picture with the car is one of my favorite pictures because of his genuine style, the way he's standing, everything about him. You know, the car's just part of the backdrop. But I think people think it's weird that I like that picture because, you know, he died in an accident in that vehicle. But Alex loved his little car and took good care of it, as far as I know.
His first car was brand new. He was so excited because he was so excited to get this car. So, you know, it's a milestone to have your license and just to drive without, you know, asking for your parents to take you somewhere. And he had played a lot of racing games at the time, so when he found out his car had those little paddle shifters on the steering wheel, he lost his mind. You know, he would always be showing me how to, you know, play with it and use it, and honestly, I didn't care. I didn't know anything about it. But yeah, he loved that thing. I remember him. He'd always drive out of the school parking lot backwards as fast as he could, which is not good, but he always did it as a joke. And I remember him. I remember him wanting to do donuts in the snow at the mall parking lot a few times, but I don't think we ever got to do it together. At least he'd probably have, but not with me.
Every time I think of him, this one comes into mind where we were just getting to school in the morning, and he parked right beside me, and he was super close to me. Like, I could barely get out of my car, and he just looks at me, and he was like, I should have just drove in closer. And then he couldn't get out, and then he wouldn't be able to go to school.
Okay, yep, I'll tell you about that one memory I have of him now. I forget when it was. It was definitely after school, sometime after winter break. And we all decided to grab some food and go to Moraine State Park. And just to hang out. We brought a frisbee and a soccer ball just to be there in January for some reason. We don't know why, but we did it. And I remember there being a dock and about 10 feet of open water, and then the rest is ice. So it's pretty cold. So I told him, I dare you to get down to your boxers and just jump, like run and jump, or try to touch the ice at least before you go in. And he did. He got down to his boxers, but he was scared to jump in. So I snuck up behind him and just kicked him in. And the funniest thing was, like, it was about 3 feet deep at where the dock was, but he went fully under for some reason. And when he came out, it was immediate, like, cold shock. He just gasped for air, losing his mind. He thought he was drowning. And I was like, Alex, stand up. He's like, oh, okay. And then we got him a towel and clothes, and he hated me for about 2 hours after that. And then we got food, warm food for him, which was great.
Don't kick too hard. What do you mean? I'm not kicking. I'm not kicking. Oh, okay. What was that? That's so shallow. Oh, I swallowed. I didn't spit.
Yeah, we've done some dumb things. That one was the dumbest because I remember him having a few like bruises and cuts on his leg from all the rocks he landed on, because I failed to tell him that it was going to be 3 feet deep, and he just assumed it was deep, so he curled up and just pretty much sat on a bunch of rocks. But no, it depends on what it was and what his mood was in. You know, if he didn't feel like freezing, he probably wouldn't have done it, but since everyone was just running around in the cold, it didn't matter to him at that time.
He was fun. He liked to go out with his friends. Just like any teenager, he didn't want to follow all the rules. I am sure, us being us, you know, saying he had to be home by a certain time or whatever, wasn't, you know, he wasn't thrilled. Gosh. So one time we were horrible parents, I'm sure in his mind. He went to the drive-in with his friends with his new car, and we told him, there's a curfew, you're a junior driver, you can't stay for the second movie. And he didn't come home, so I called him, and he said, oh, Mom, I really want to stay. And I think he thought if he, you know, come on, Mom, let me stay, that I was going to say yes, but I was concerned that he would get a ticket between here and there, and, you know, that would be a mark against him in some way. And I was like, nope, you're going to have to come home. And he's like, oh, I'll come in a little while. Like, he was kind of defiant. So, well, we went to the drive-in, and Jeff drove Alex's car home. And Alex was a little bent with us, but he didn't stay mad. He understood. But now I wish I would have just let him do what he wanted.
Everybody like got cars and licenses at different times, and I remember whoever could like drive first, that's the car we went into. And yeah, I do remember that because he did have a curfew. I think we all had curfews. I'm pretty sure we all had curfews because we would have been the same age. I do remember that though. I think I was there that night. I don't remember what we were watching though.
I'm sure I cannot be the only parent who's lost a child that says, you know what, I can't believe the things I made him do. If I had known that the time was limited as it was, there's a lot more things I would have been like, yeah, I don't really care if you get an A in whatever subject, like, just try to pass, you know. But, yeah, I wish, you know, I guess, well, you know, and knowing, well, what would have that done, you probably would worry and it would be awful anyway, dreading. But, you know, sometimes I wish that maybe I had been more flexible about something like that and, you know, not embarrassed him in front of his friends. But what can you do? I was that mom that night. But, you know, also I think everybody tests the boundaries in some way. And, you know, as a parent, you kind of have to hang tight to that boundary because it's the right thing to do at the time. So, I don't know. But, you know, it's not like he came home and stomped around the house and was yelling at us. He was just sad. You know, like, I can't believe they came and got me from the drive-in in front of my friends. So, yeah, that's probably the one time that I wish I hadn't, like, if I wasn't such a rule follower and that kind of thing. But other than that, I don't think we embarrassed him too much.
When it was time to start looking at colleges in junior senior year, he wanted to do the nursing program with me, so we both applied. And that was the goal. He wanted to be a practitioner, and so did I. So we were hoping to go to the same school for all of it, so at least we're not alone, getting pounded by homework and medical classes. But other than that, I think he wanted to end at nurse practitioner.
I thought he was maybe going to BC3. I wanted to get into the nurse program, which made a lot of sense because he liked to, he's very caring and was a help to a lot of people. So it definitely would make sense for him.
Yeah, I'm like 99% sure he was gonna go in for nursing or something along in the caretaking field.
I think he just wanted to help people any way that he could. And that's a very good way of helping people and caring for people, and that's just who he was.
Alex was looking into nursing schools in like the local area. So he was looking at BC3, I believe Slippery Rock, but I'm sure Melody told you this, that he didn't really want to do that. He was trying to pitch the idea to his parents of being like a co-op, and being like officer friendly, just the smiling face that you could see around at the donut shop. But I think he probably would have done nursing or something and pivoted to something that's more one-on-one, because he was very much like a one-on-one person.
Well, again, overbearing parents. So Alex wanted to be a police officer, and Jeffrey and I were mortified because the climate was already changing so much in the United States of how police officers are treated. And I said, "What makes you choose that, son?" And he says, "All I want to do, Mom, is help people. I don't want to work in a big office building and make a bunch of money and not communicate with people. As a police officer, I could help people." And I said, "There's a lot of other jobs." I'll be honest, there's a lot of other jobs you could do to assist people. You could go into social services. You could be an attorney who works for the public, where you're helping children that have to go into court and they need representation. You could be a nurse. You could be a this. I was laundry listing jobs that I thought he would be physically safer at, that would not have such a mental toll at the end of the day, years into the job. Although they would still be, have their toll. Each of those things have their own toll on a person. So probably we persuaded him away from that and into nursing. And he signed for school and applied for the nursing program. But honestly, I think that he would have started that, then remembered that he was an adult, and then switched over to what he wanted to do, and probably gone into, some type of police role or some type of criminology type thing. Yeah, I think that he was strong enough and secure enough that, although, of course, he loved us, and he understood all the logic of what we thought was right, I think he would have changed and made the right decision for himself, and he would be a police officer right now.
Like, no one knew what to say to you. Just being in that position, no one knew what to say to you. Not even the teachers knew what to say. So essentially, it was just kind of just socializing with you, trying to be normal, but you don't know what to do, don't know what to say half the time. So, but you're just kind of just doing it.
Since Alex wasn't at graduation, it definitely felt like a piece was missing.
It was a milestone for all of us just to get through high school. But for me and a few others, it felt weird because he should have been there with us.
Just because we met in school, and then that was kind of like the ending of that kind of schooling. So it was like we didn't end it together. Yeah.
I just don't think it made sense. It just felt like it wasn't supposed to be that way. Like, definitely something was missing. Somebody was missing.
It's pretty rough, because we were graduating without one of our really good friends, and he didn't get to experience the stuff that we did, prom, graduation. He never got to experience any of that stuff. It was kind of like he was stuck in time.
The slogan, "Diamonds Last Forever," I believe it comes from